Hi, Jeff.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Good, good.
So, tell me about yourself and how you got into the car wrap business.
Yeah, so my name is Jeff Kim. We have a business. My wife and I own Minneapolis Sign Design, and we're located at Highway 7 and Highway 100 in St. Louis Park. So it's really close to, downtown Minneapolis and uptown. But yeah, if we go back to the beginning, my wife and I, we are both adopted Koreans. We came to the States in the 70s, and I grew up in South Dakota and went to school in Minnesota, got my MBA at the University of St. Thomas, and from there went into the tech world. So my last job was at an ad agency in New York City where I was the director of user experience. One of my main clients was Charles Schwab, and did user experience, website design, marketing, branding for close to 30 years now. And finally, last October, got laid off, and that's when I started thinking about, well, maybe I need to, think about doing something else because I was getting kind of worn out being in 5-hour phone calls, especially after COVID. You'd be sitting on these really long phone calls, and I'd just sometimes be banging my head on the desk and was just wanting more. I didn't think, God put us on this earth to be sitting in, phone calls for that long, all day long. So I decided to do something different. And my wife and I have both ran businesses. She ran a company in Eden Prairie called Epic Event Rental, where they do the big corporate tents and things like that for a lot of the big companies. We sold that business, and then with me being laid off and us looking for another business to buy, we were thinking about, doing some research while we were taking some time off in Vegas, and we found a sign company in Laconia for sale. And we didn't know anything about signs, but we put an offer in, and they just kind of dragged their feet. And, we learned a little bit about the process. We learned kind of some things that we didn't want just from our experience owning the rental business. We knew we didn't want something so seasonal. I mean, in Minnesota, not very many events going on when it's 20 below zero. And then she didn't want to hire 20 college students every summer. She was getting kind of tired of that and mothering them all the time. So we wanted something also more business to business, not so much, dealing with brides and mother-in-laws and things like that for weddings, and not so personal and not so emotionally attached. So we wanted to work with businesses. And then I wanted to use my creativity, like I said, in tech for the last 30 years. And so we decided on sign company because it's business to business. And then with the sign company, you also get into car wraps for large format printing, that is. And so I didn't know anything about car wraps, so I took some classes and things like that, found out I really enjoyed it. And then, my wife now helps out with the books, and she does her own thing. She has an accounting practice for small businesses and startups. She found that there's a gap between the tax accountant and bookkeeper, so she fills that gap with small businesses. And that's been really taken off because a lot of small businesses don't know what their accountants don't know. So she's been real helpful with that. And so now we got into the sign business and started a Minneapolis Sign Design, where we do award-winning graphics for walls, windows, and work vehicles. Kind of a long answer. Sorry.
It's awesome. No, I love it. Thank you. I understand you're recently on a reality competition show. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Oh yeah. So my wife and I, we were on a show. It's on Amazon Prime. It's called The Blocks, and they promote it as the world's largest entrepreneurial competition. And so they bring 100 of us, all entrepreneurs from all different industries. But anyway, so they brought 100 of us, and we found out later that 60,000 people applied. And so we were selected, through various interviews and things like that. So we were able to represent Minneapolis Sign Design, and how it works is it's pretty cool. So Wes Bergstrom is the host, and if anybody follows reality TV, he was on The Challenge lots of times. And so he founded this company that does this reality show. And basically, it's a competition. Each day you have a business topic. So, for example, one day was that you needed to create a ridiculous offer for your business. And the reason for that is because a lot of offers are, 20% off or, save $5 or things like that. Those don't work anymore. So the topic was creating a ridiculous offer, and, you might lose something financially, but you'll usually make up more in volume. So my ridiculous offer was save $500 on like a $2,000 wrap job. So that's pretty big. But the idea is that, you get that traction in your advertising, in your SEO, on your landing pages if you're running, LinkedIn ads or whatever like that. So you'll get that offer. You'll get people in the door. They'll tell their friends and so on. But the idea is to have a ridiculous offer. And so then at the end of the day, because since there's 100 of us, they start out with 10 groups of 10. And so if you win that topic in the morning, you get up and you do a pitch for whatever the topic is. And one day I did win that on the ridiculous offer. So then at the end of the day at night, they'd bring you up on the big stage where you actually do something similar in front of everybody. And then they pick a winner from that. And then out of the competition, there's like 7 nights, and then you'll see it. It'll be on Amazon Prime, but you'll see it. And then the winner gets, some, dollar amount, not much, but the whole idea is a learning experience and going through different topics every day that really pertain to any business and how to grow it. So look for it on probably in about a year. I think we did season 21, and right now they're airing season 17 on Amazon. So there'll be a little bit yet, but The Blocks, BLOX.
Love it.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for those who want to start their own business or change careers?
Oh, good question. I would say probably, just do it. Whether it's learning a new skill, taking on a new job, the first 6 months, you're going to be really bad at it. Okay. But you're going to learn, you're going to grow, and you'll just be happy that you took that risk, and it is going to pay off. So just do it. You'll be bad at the beginning, but then you're going to grow. That's what we did. I didn't know how to wrap cars, and now after 20 or 30 cars, I'm really good at it, and it's paying off. So
love it. Awesome. How do people get in touch with you?
Pretty easy. Go to our website. It's design and MSD for Minneapolis Sign Design.com. So designmsd.com.
What's one piece of inspiration that drives you or that could benefit others?
I would say to find balance, and whatever that looks like for you, whether it's, work life that you always hear about, but maybe it's physical or emotional balance, just to find that where you can kind of not get too crazy in one aspect of your life and, just kind of balance it out so that you can kind of keep going and carrying on.
What's something you wish more people understood?
I think empathy is a good one. A lot of folks, they always try to think about themselves first, whether it's, running a business, trying to worry about the bottom line, which of course you need to do, but they don't really understand their customers or their clients. I guess even, their family members, if you want to take it on a more personal level, but trying to see things from, the other's perspective. And eventually I think that's going to pay off. Look more for the long-term gain instead of just the short-term gains.
Right. Absolutely. What's a moment in your journey that changed everything?
I would say probably the trigger was being laid off, because I would have stayed in the tech world and I was kind of getting burned out at the end for doing it so long. But being laid off just kind of made us think about things differently. And the one thing we didn't like was that, we didn't really have any control of being laid off, because they laid off a bunch of us, and it was just a financial decision at the time. and we didn't have any control. So now, at least with running and managing your own business, if things don't go well, it's all because, you need to do something else or do something better.
Who is an ideal client for you?
Ideal clients are really the small business. A lot of trades are ideal because if you think of plumbers and electricians, roofers, and things like that, they all have work vehicles. And if they don't have their logo or, the website on the work vehicle, they're just missing a really good opportunity. Or even worse yet, if they do have their logo on there and their phone number and it's really too small or looks bad, it's not going to establish them as being a very credible company. So you want to have something that really stands out. And that's what we specialize in. We don't just install the graphics. I actually sit down with the client and really walk them through the whole branding strategy and making sure that, they get the most bang for their buck when they put something on their trucks.
What's something you wish that people knew about you that they wouldn't be able to necessarily see?
Good question. I guess that I really want to solve the problems for them. And that's hard to see in the first couple conversations, is that that's what brings me joy, is figuring out their problems, whether it's a marketing problem, whether it's a new business and they want to get seen. So I do a lot of SEO. I still do a lot of tech stuff. That's funny with the sign business. A lot of these startup companies, they also need business cards and websites and logos and things like that. And I've actually still been doing a lot of that. So might start off with a car wrap, but then we end up doing a whole bunch of stuff, hats, T-shirts, all of that for branding. So just because I have so much experience in it, it's just kind of natural, goes in that direction. So we really, with my wife's accounting financial background, we can really help small businesses with pretty much everything besides legal stuff.
One last question. What is your favorite part about working with your wife?
We definitely have our ups and downs, but the favorite part is that we can we do a pretty good job of separating business from personal. We try not to talk shop after 8 p.m. at night. When we go out to dinners, we try to limit the shop talk. But it's just nice having that foundation. It's nice having that partner to bounce ideas off. And it's nice, she's in the office right next to me. And hey, if we want to cut out for a 2-hour lunch or go see a matinee on a Tuesday, we can. So that's the beauty of it.
Absolutely. All righty. I think that's all I got for you.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, it's Will with the Podcast Crew team. Spotlight is a vidcast shot at the Podcast Crew studios in Minneapolis. We would love for you to be our guest. Email us at the email address on your screen below to get a copy of the upcoming schedule. It's free, it's easy, and it's a great way to try out a podcast or a vidcast with our pro team. We do an in-person, in-studio version if you're in the Twin Cities area, and also an online version if you're somewhere else. We'd love to have you, hear your story, and help you start your podcast journey. Thanks. Get in touch today.